Hail them.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Hailing frequencies. Open.
I don't know why I keep giving alien street food a chance. It's always such a gamble.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
Welcome to another Hailing Frequencies Open podcast where we continue to trek through the past and future of Star Trek. As always, I'm your host, Mike Jones, and today we have in the virtual studio with us, don't retweet a shiny picture of him, it's Damien.
Hi, Mike Jones. This is true. My boyfriend warned me you better not be retweeted on any of that video content with a shiny face. So especially with our guest arriving in full face, the least I could do is put a little powder right here. So
Absolutely. She always looks wonderful, but for some reason she thought this was Casual Friday and didn't come in uniform. It's Lanita.
Sure did. Yes, I wasn't wearing my dress uniform. I am on leave right now. I'm on shore leave, so that is why I look the way I do.
she's in
Getting
Counselor
his
Troy's
full
pajamas.
And coming to us all the way from Manchester, England, where it is very late, the one and only and fabulous Misty Chance.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Nice to see you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. Damien and I went to the Galactic D&I convention a couple weeks ago, and we were lucky enough to catch Misty's performance of the Kate Mulgrew montage, and instantly we were like, okay, we need to get to know this person. We need this person to come on the pod. They need to be our friend. So I feel so lucky to have you.
Listen, I was like, I couldn't believe you asked. I was like, really?
Oh my God.
I'm just.
We can't believe you said yes.
Like you guys.
That's
I was
the truth.
the reason as you guys. I'm just a fan as well. So, it's like, but this is what conventions really do. Fans, meeting fans and making friends. I mean, across the world, we're thousands of kilometers away. And as you quite rightly pointed out, Mike, it is very late. Over here, I would normally be up, but I wouldn't sort of kind of be up kind of like this. Might be like a onesie or something, or I might be out on the town.
You might be working
or working sometimes. No, I mean Tuesday. I generally like to know that Monday and Tuesday are free for me. So that's my.
Nice.
So you're here on you're in full drag with us on your night off.
On your day off.
Yeah.
We appreciate you more than you know.
It wasn't
Truly.
so much having to put the makeup on; it's the shaving. 2 days without having to shave is like heaven. So I'm just shaving in there, like at 11 o'clock at night, and cursing you all.
Yes,
we can take it. We can take it.
So, I mean, I feel like we should just, for the people who were not at this convention, Misty, you and Busty Springfield were an amazing duo, and you were the intro act to Kate Mulgrew. And the tribute that you both did was, I mean, I don't even know how to begin talking about it. Can you start us off by just sort of explaining your act and where it came from?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It kind of like it was so long in the planning that like now it's over. It's like a distant kind of memory. I did that. Wow, I can't believe that happened. So I think jumping back a little bit, I was at the convention, the Las Vegas convention, I think 2016, and that is a huge like convention, the biggest in the world. I think I'm right in saying, perhaps. And it was so big. There was an LGBTQ plus after party for that convention. So I was dressed as Mirror Universe Kira.
Amazing.
Oh, amazing.
The intendant. So I got this leather bodysuit on, boiling to death because like it's PVC, mincing around, and some guy comes up to me and says, "I run the sort of LGBTQ plus after party. We have Nana Visitor joining us as our guest. Here's an invite."
Wow.
And that was it. And I was there with a friend, and I was like, "Sure, I wouldn't mind going to that." we got in a taxi, and as you know, like Las Vegas is just like this massive glowing town in the middle of a desert. So getting this taxi, and we are driving and driving and driving, and don't forget, I'm in this like PVC cat suit with the prosthetics on and all the makeup and everything. And it kind of dawned on me halfway. I just said to my friend, I said, I'm sorry about this, but I think we're being taken to the desert to be murdered. And I was sure of it because I was like, we ain't going to no gay party. We're done for it, kind of thing. Because I've not been to America too many times, and I was like, oh my god, we're dead. Eventually pulled up, and there's just this row of units. I can only say units. I don't know what they were, and a door, and tottered in my heels, and there's like maybe like 50, 60 people all just kind of turned and looked at the door, and I just looked at my left, and there's Nana, visitor, just sat there with a glass of wine, and she was like, "Oh, wow, you're dressed like me. Take a seat." And I sat there and drank wine with her for a week. She did for about all sorts of things, and that was that. And then ever since, I've stayed in touch. Every now and again, I'll get a message from those people that ran the party saying, obviously, I'm from the UK. So, can you pop and do a Zoom thing online? Because they do kind of, we call it Family Fortunes. I think you call it Family Feud.
Family Feud. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they do a Trekkie version. But with the time difference and all that kind of thing, and the days I've never been able to do it. And that was that. And then they messaged and said, we have Nana at a thing. Would you want to come over? And it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks notice on that or something like that. And I was like, I can't just take that time off kind of thing. But I said no so many times because I was unable to make the other things. I kind of didn't want them to think I was saying no because I wasn't interested. It just genuinely was a scheduling conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of said, anything that you've got going in the future that you need me for, all you need to do is give me some notice, plenty of notice, and I'll be there. And then randomly I got this message, and it said, I've had an idea, like, we have Kate Mulgrew. And I thought, well, whatever the idea is, I'm there, kind of thing. And he said, I want some drag queens to fetch her on. And because there was such a huge amount of notice, and all the stars seemed to align, because one of the venues that I do a residency in was closing for a refurb. So it give me 5 weeks to work on this.
Wow.
So I kind of said, sure, let's. I'd love to do that.
That's amazing.
And I ended up there.
And so, about how long between the inception of this and like how long did you have to work on it?
I would say with all the other things that I had going on as well that I was jumping in and out of, it was a slow process. There was a couple of Zooms. Like, are we on the same page? What's your idea for this? Getting queens together was actually really, really difficult.
How did you connect with Busty?
Well, I mean, so they were saying, do you have any queens that you know of? And I said, well, of course, I kind of do. However, to spend so much money on literally going across the Atlantic to do this, not just the money that you would spend doing that, but the time you would have to take off the gigs on this side would just be astronomical. And you would have to be a diehard Mulgrew, specifically Mulgrew fan, to do that. I had lunch with a friend that I knew was a big Voyager fan. Initially, she was like, do you know what? It's once in a lifetime. I'm going to do this. And they're really close to the kind of thing. She was like, I've no passport. I need a passport, right? Yeah, you're going to need that. So she was out. And then the organisers hooked me up with a couple of queens in an email. One of them particularly was extremely enthusiastic about it, really into it. While at the time I was writing a piece for 5 queens, because there were 5 Kate Mulgrew characters to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was writing, but you see, and then as you know, because you were there, when it came down to it, we ended up with 2. So
By the way, many of us were fooled. Many of us.
That's what they talked about. That we didn't know there was just two. There had to be multiple.
Was Kate joking when she kind of went, "Where's the rest of you?" Because I thought for a second that she thought.
I don't think so.
I mean, I think I caught on pretty quick that it was just two of you, but it took a minute. I was like, wait a second, because like, I mean, we had said this before, like, and things had not been like super smooth at this convention, so we were like, when we saw something that was like a quick change, which is like sort of advanced, that was like, surely that's not happening. But no, you were doing quick changes, which was like mind blowing to us. That and quick changes that were like convincingly, maybe for a split second, you were a different person. It was very impressive.
Professionally produced, which was not the theme of the event, it seemed.
Well, thank you very much. I'm extremely self-critical of my performances, particularly. We was left with 5 characters for 2 queens, and don't forget we didn't actually have any physical rehearsal on this because we're at different sides of the Atlantic. So it was literally 2 Zooms. First Zoom to get to kind of know each other a little bit so we could catch each other's vibe sort of thing. And second one, in between first and second Zoom, I had recorded myself doing all the characters to the timing of the track, which I need to do a shout out to Mark Griffiths, who we sat in his studio for 9 hours in one stint, 9 hours solid. And created that track. Some of the music there was created as a musician from the ground up, from the guitar, the piano, the whistles in the back, everything from the ground up. And I really wanted to do that track justice and the words justice. So I was lucky enough to have 5 weeks off. So I don't know if you've been to Manchester's gay village. It's quite distracting. It is all singing, all dancing, all of the time.
Yeah.
So kind of when I'm not working or sat watching Star Trek, I'm down there, with friends and stuff till all hours of the morning. If I'd have stayed here while that venue had been closed for the refurb, I wouldn't have got anything done. So I flew to Cyprus out of season, end of February. I took all of March there. And sat on the beach, sat by the pool, walking, sat on benches. I climbed a mountain one day and with my notepad and was writing up there. So that's where I wrote it all. Once I'd done that, bearing in mind there was incredible amount of research because some of the characters that Kate was doing, I wasn't born at the time.
Yeah, so Ryan's. Did you watch? This is what you're answering all my questions, which I love. But Ryan's Hope, did you watch? How do you even find Ryan's Hope? If you don't know, Ryan's Hope was like a prime time, an evening, right?
Oh yeah, it was a huge
evening soap opera.
Yeah, 1974, I think. It was a huge thing, very very famous. I guess it would be like kind of our, we have Coronation Street up here,
right.
I guess it's kind of like that. But I knew as well, once we were going to do all our big characters, that Mary Ryan would be in there. And looking at the Queens, I knew all 5 of us would have a fight in our hands to do Janeway.
Yeah. Because
that's what the convention is. And, it's sci-fi and, we're all huge Star Trek fans. So I kind of knew that I probably would end up with that character. So to do it justice, I watched the damn thing, and I liked it.
Where'd you find it?
I started watching on YouTube, then I did a download, and I was watching highlights, and I kind of got into the story. And if you've read Kate's book, I mean, it's quite heartbreaking actually to watch her. The birthing scene when she has a baby. It's pretty deep stuff, and she does a masterful performance as always. But then we moved from there.
I love, not to interrupt, I love you brought up her
Sorry.
book because,
Yeah,
Kate
sure.
tells the story of when she wrote her book, she did the same thing you did. She went away, she,
Yeah.
went to the, and to get, to just her and writing. And it's fascinating that you had that same story with the, with this piece. Anyway,
I think,
So you
yeah,
did
I
a
think
full-on
obviously,
Kate Mulgrew retreat to be
you
her.
did.
well, I mean, it's a different thing. She was delving deep into some
Right.
sort of real sort of background trauma there, of
Yeah.
her and things. I was just writing a drag number, so I mean, it doesn't really compare. But what is similar is that if you want to concentrate, you've really got to shut yourself off from all distraction. And that it really helped. It did help because I had time to sit and, like I said, watch a lot of these shows. I was watching Mrs. Columbo, which is kind of, watching it now, it's kind of a mixture of kind of murder mystery comedy. And the number of Star Trek actors that pop up, like, oh my god, it's Gary, oh my god, it's Odo, like,
Oh, funny.
it was crazy. And then I really started to get into, well, the characters have been sort of laid out already. They've been said, we want this character, this character, this character, kind of thing. So I was well aware that she'd done Katharine Hepburn on stage.
Which I was lucky enough to see. I saw her do that.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that as well, because watching clips back, I actually started watching Hepburn movies, and some of those are just Hollywood classics that you just film doesn't get any better than that. And I could see why she's scooped up all the Oscars. And I thought, I'm going to screw that up. There's no way I'm a drag queen on a back street in Manchester. There is no way I'm going to be able to carry that off. And then there's the fine line of carrying that off and taking the piss, because you want to inject a bit of comedy as well.
Yeah.
So that was on my mind, and I'm thinking, oh my god, she might be like, what the fuck is she doing to Katharine Hepburn? I mean, this is a legend, And I just thought, oh no, do we really have to do Katharine Hepburn? I'm really not qualified for that. But again, being the older queen, I got the Hepburn piece. But it was a bit of a trade-off with Busty over that, because I'd kind of tried to do the Russian accent of Red, and no. I just couldn't do it, and straight away.
It's funny that in our because we maybe did a little bit of research ourselves. We did find a little bit of you doing Red.
Yes, well, and this is how I know I couldn't do it.
No, you sounded fine.
Because I'd tried it before, as I was doing some little promo clips for something or other. I can't quite remember what it was, but I was in a kitchen, and I said to Busty, I said, I have a red outfit and I have the wig styled to actual, like, spot on styled to her thing, with an extra 15%. Always an extra 15% for drag, just to make it just a little bit.
Make sure the shoulders are in proportion.
Yeah, it makes your face look a bit daintier, and your nose a bit slimmer if you have bigger hair. So she's like, "Oh, cool, bring the wig, and I'll bring the accent, you bring the wig." So
Amazing.
I was so happy when she said she was going to do Red, and she smashed that. I've got to say, we run through it in my hotel room before we went downstairs, and I was like, oh, this bitch has literally learned every single word. I was like, wow. And I was so glad of that, because, if you end up with somebody that's kind of skimmed it or thought, we're arsing about, it's one number, he was just, I was so thankful that I got a queen that was very professional, and and then it come to time to do Janeway, and I was like, you ain't having it all the Janeway. If it had been 5 of us, I would have liked to end the number with 5 Janeways, or different, Queen Arachnia and Mrs. Davenport, and Action Janeway with the vest, Admiral Janeway.
Yes,
I would have done that, but I think we wanted Janeway as she was in Voyager, and then a future kind of version that's come back to see a young kind of, to see how everything's turned out, sort of thing. So I mean, I have to say, I was nervous, and my dresser actually said, I've been doing shows for years, and it was the first time I've actually seen you kind of, like this. I mean, angry, nervous, snapping at everyone. Like, oh my god, shut up! I'm thinking. I know.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to get
yeah,
it so right.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Because I wasn't sure, because I wasn't told an awful lot. It's here. This is what you're doing. They never asked, can we see the number or anything like that? So it could have been total shite.
Wow.
You know, so I mean, even I was on my own writing it, so I didn't know, and it's the first serious song or piece. Serious. I mean, not comedy or parody. Serious, kind of the wording was researched and in that respect serious. Even though there was a bit of comedy in there, I kind of looked at it and I thought, I don't know if it's good. I don't know, nothing to compare it to. So I sent it to, I'd done Panto at the end of last year, and another shout out there to Kate Mitchell, who's a big theatre, sort of just acting and choreography and everything. And I said, please read this, She read it and she changed, she kind of did a rewrite on it, but like some wording here and there and sent it back. And I thought, okay, must be all right. Just go with it. It's all I've got.
Absolutely.
All I've got, that's what they're getting, Scary.
Well, just watching Kate watch you was great. She was loving every second of it.
Were you shocked when she said, no, don't go anywhere, come sit down and let's have a chat?
Well, it was more than a shock, because I'd already convinced myself and said to the people that I was kind of in on it and around me, I said, look, if they sit her there in the front row, or if she's there for the performance, because I wasn't sure whether we were doing the number, then they were fetching her out, or they plonked her right on the front row.
Oh, see, from where we were, I couldn't see where she was.
I could see her. It was just you were too far over.
Right there. She's right there, staring up, like staring up. And don't forget, I'd not only largely written it, with Kate's help as well, and rehearsed it a squillion million billion times. Yeah. Don't forget, an 8-hour flight over to America. I was just sat there going through it. Got on stage and went, okay, what are my words? Because I looked down and there's Kate sat in the front row, cross-legged like she does, and I thought, what? So I'd said to everyone, including myself, look, she has zero choice but to smile and clap.
Exactly. I mean, and she's a professional. She knows what to do.
She's a great actor.
She could even make me believe it.
Yeah,
she's gonna do it. Bravo.
And you're gonna be like, yes.
Yeah, but I knew that. I thought, she's no choice. If anything, it'll be more awkward for her if she doesn't. She's not going to sit there and go, well, seen better. She's just not. So I thought, I'm expecting
a choice.
What she did.
But I think it's worth explaining for people who were not there the magnitude of what she did do, because she was not going to take direction from anybody. She rearranged the furniture to turn the tables around, and she used her time and put you two in the spotlight. I mean, you already were. And it was one of those things you were like, oh, Kate has the wheel, and now she's going to do what she wants, and this is what she wants.
Right.
She certainly did. I think she kind of started. I mean, it would also have been a bit weird if she'd come up and gone, right, thanks, but it's my bit now, frig off. Yes. Sure. I don't think she'd have done that, but she didn't have to do what she did. She started a small private conversation without the microphones, with just us two, and then kind of realised the audience was there, and then kind of went, oh, right, pull up a chair. Let's do it here. And, she started an impromptu interview, which, of course, none of us were ready for.
And of course, I felt like it was a big surprise to everyone, but you could have fooled the audience that you both were just like, from where we were sitting, totally at ease, like totally ready for it.
Well, not in my brain, I wasn't. All I remember from that bit really is crossing my legs, arms on the arms of the chairs. I sat just like Jamie in the captain's chair, sat like that, and I just thought, just let it go. Just answer whatever she's asking. Honestly, just go for it. I don't know, but I can't remember anything I said. I've got to admit that. So and then before I knew it, I was backstage and I was like, somebody get me an effing drink now.
Absolutely.
Did you manage to enjoy yourselves afterwards?
It was a massive, it was a massive release. Kind of, did that just happen? But then also a bit of trepidation, like kind of waiting for the feedback to come through. I mean, I didn't know if Kate Mulgrew fans were going to stop me in the hall, going, "What the hell were you doing?"
Oh.
But on some level, you had to know that you were like in the epicenter of people that were going to love this.
Yes.
If there was anywhere to perform that was the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the place. For drag queens and for Star Trek fans and Kate Mulgrew fans. An LGBTQ plus Star Trek convention with Kate Mulgrew in attendance. That is the only way you're going to be able to perform that kind of thing.
A niche within a niche, like the perfect place.
Absolutely. The atmosphere was warm and friendly. I think even after all of that, even after the interview with Kate, even after the performance and all of that sort of stuff, the moment that it hit me that I allowed myself a little bit of to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back. Mm-hmm. I was in the signing / merchandise room, and some guy came over to me and he went, "Hey, that was great." And I went, "Oh, thank you." I mean, and so many people had said that up to that point. You stopped me in the hall. And he went, "Kate loved that." And I thought, yeah, well, how do you know, kind of thing, you. And he went, "Oh, I'm Kate's husband, by the way."
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, so I mean, like, he didn't need to come and seek me out and find me and lie to me, did he? I mean,
right.
That's her husband. She must have said to him, "Oh, that was pretty cool," or, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That was nice." And he come and found me and told me. And I thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, she liked it.
Still maybe?
Yes.
Still kind of maybe. Even 20 minutes after that, her touring agent came over to me and said, "If you go and see Kate, anything you want is on her."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which
anything you want, like at the bar, or like anything you want. Well, like, what does that mean?
I wish it had been from the bar, because did you see those prices?
Oh, right. Oh, yes.
I was like, you can't afford to get me drunk. Listen, my adrenaline through the roof. I'm going to need at least 10 beers. No, she was doing a signing at the table. So her pictures, and actually I wanted, because I met Kate, I think this was at signing tables, I think 2 or 3 times before, but kind of just high, signature, whatever. So I kind of had all the autographs, but I thought, okay, well, I wanted an autograph I have character autographs, but I've not got a picture of her, of Kate. And because we've done Kate's career, I thought, I want a picture, which actually is there, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there she is.
But I kind of also wanted her new book, because I thought I can read that on the plane on the way home. And I thought, that's really cheeky, asking for kind of 2 things. So we actually got out like $50 to offer to pay. And they were just like, no. So, and she wrote something cute, really cute in the book. It was so nice. What was it? The book's just there. It was, you are something about, you're a wonderful talent and a fabulous spirit, or something along those lines. So, I mean, I was pleased all the way home. I was kind of pleased with that.
Well, and
are you gonna
go ahead, La?
Oh, is this something that you're gonna keep in your repertoire? Like, I know that this is a niche with a niche, but they came back from this convention raving. They were like, Damazon came to my desk and was like, "I'm only going to tell you this little bit because then we're going to talk about the D&I con, and I don't want to spoil it." I said, "Okay, great," because I was mad I couldn't go. But it was like, this performance, it was drag, it was Trek, it was Kate, it was and so, like, I feel like with all of that, to me, it seems like something you would keep in, like, the pocket of your repertoire to be like, I'll pull it out again?
Well, I think for the amount of work and money that went into getting that together, it would be such a shame if we didn't. So I think, and I have to say as well, I mean, they can't really deny this. So this is not a read, by the way, to the convention of the organisers, but the sound wasn't good. The convention hall room echoed, bounced around. I think Kate mentioned it on the mic. Had you noticed the quick changes? We just needed a changing area next to the thing, which I'd kind of sort of requested, and everyone was just so hectic and manic, and people running around doing more important things, and I never got that sorted. And I just feel we'd have been out on time, a bit more chilled, a bit more relaxed, wigs stuck on correctly. I would have felt better with it, more comfortable with it. So I kind of
Did you have a dresser? Did you have somebody helping you with a quick, like, how did you manage those quick changes the way that you did?
I did. I have a dresser for my solo show who came with me.
Great.
Literally up to sort of the last week, sewing machine was out on this very table, and we were making some of the costumes quicker change by cutting them up the back, putting Velcro in, which created a whole lot of problems because some of the fabrics were made of fabrics that stuck to Velcro, so you'd undo the Velcro and then they'd all crunch up into a ball, and so everything was kind of let out flat in the stairwell kind of area, whatever it is. And then they said, "Can you just move all these clothes because we're fetching Kate through here?" I was like, "What?" And then another cute moment, which I will just take to my little Star Trek grave, is there was no mirror. I had no mirror in the back either. Impossible to do without a mirror, putting wigs on.
Right.
So I'm running around and I'm asking anyone that would listen to me, "Do you have a mirror?" "I don't have a mirror." "Do you have a mirror?" I'm like, "We're in a fucking hotel. Why is there no mirrors?" I just need a mirror. And there was a woman.
You're giving me workplace anxiety right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd be like, "Can I have a cell phone? Can I please have a cell phone? Someone just take a picture of me so I can zoom in and see where the fault is." Someone.
We have a drag act here. Why is there no mirror? You don't a drag act with you. What? Exactly.
Right. The gays should know better.
And I was kind of a bit angsty about the mirror situation. And I collared a crew member with a lanyard that was clearly part of the convention, that was walking down the hall with somebody. And I went, "Have you got a mirror? I need a mirror." And they're like, "No." And the woman that there was with said, "Here, I have one." It was only Savick, Robin Curtis.
Get out of the way, Robin Curtis.
So nice.
So,
she blocked us in an elevator. She was lovely.
She's so nice. She's
so nice.
It was our little star encounter with her.
And as dressed as I was, I did when I took that, and it was a pocket mirror. It was completely frigging useless because I mean, like, it's that big, and there's nothing to put it up.
It's like one corner of your hair in that mirror.
This is Savick's mirror, and I got it back to the thing, and I thought, well, this is really no good for what we need it for. But I'm kind of thinking I'm about to do this thing in front of Kate Mulgrew in Savick's pocket mirror. It doesn't get any stranger.
Gave you a little extra razzle dazzle for the performance. I love it.
Thank you very much to whoever it was that had obviously heard me screaming and shouting for a mirror, who turned up with a mirror. And I think, again, it was Robin Curtis who had said there are some in the green room or in the back, and they went and it was on with duct tape, and they tore it off and fetched it to him. So, I mean, thank you so much for that. But I mean, yeah, it was as stressful as it sounds, but as rewarding and as fulfilling. I have to just say that as well. I'm glad it was over, but I'm just like, yes, go us.
Well, if you ever get to like fully produce your 5-queen Janeway act, we did meet someone at the convention who does the evil hologram Janeway from Prodigy.
Yes.
Siobhan, if you're listening, you're great. She is a cosplay
I now know what that
with,
is.
Yes. Like
I'm
in the
caught
full
up.
black and white, where she like where the evil hologram takes over the ship. It's a whole different
I'm caught
Janeway
up.
from
It
Prodigy.
is. Mhm.
Is it
Yep.
the same person that does the Janeway from episode Time and Again? Is it?
Yeah.
Is
I
it?
was like, that is, yeah, she was my
Yes.
cosplay hero, my non-drag, I should say, cosplay hero of the convention, because she
I
came,
follow her now.
all of her, yes. And she also, we did an episode a few weeks before the con about the DS9 episode Past Tense, where Dax has like the weird 2024 fashion and hair,
Yeah,
right?
the Bell
I
riots.
saw her making that on Instagram. I was like,
Yes.
this bitch is doing deep cuts.
She's
Yes.
right. And it's like a casual fan even is not going to understand these. Those are deep cuts. So yeah.
So deep cuts. But I mean, like, and I've been watching Star Trek for nearly 30 years, like just short of 30 years maybe. And I appreciate those kinds of cosplayers.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
it's funny. So as we were preparing for this, you're not going to be shocked. We stalked you a little bit. There's some
Okay.
It's
available
not
material
stalking,
on
it's
the
called
internet.
research.
It's
Don't call
research.
it stalk.
It's
It is
research.
research.
Google
But
research.
Not approved.
because we're wondering whether you were a hired act for the con or a fan, and we came across your blog,
Right.
and this is how we knew you're a fan, is when you were blogging about the Klingon retcon of Discovery. We read that was enough. I was like,
No.
she's for real.
Yeah.
Yes, real fandom.
She's not messing around. She's for
So
real.
when was that? About 2017, I guess, when the show
Probably
got-
before Discovery
Yeah.
came out. So this is all,
It was like
I think
material,
it was
but
when that one of this backstage crew members leaked that photo of all the Klingons having dinner, and they're
Yes.
like, Klingons. I'm like, Klingons? No.
yes.
those on Klingons.
What?
So you say, so can we hear how you became a fan? Do you have a this is a Mike Jones question that I'm stealing. Do you have a meet cute for Star Trek?
Have
How you
what?
encounter meet cute, like in a romantic comedy, the two leads have to meet cute.
No, not particularly. I think it was just kind of it's not a sad story, but I think you've heard this story 1,000 times before. I certainly have at conventions. It's fans that are perhaps having a difficult time or a hard time or a bit lonely, perhaps maybe. They lean on it for the characters, the positive messages, especially like people from my community, I guess. So growing up, I had a little bit of a tough time at school because we would say I was a mincer. You get what I mean? I was kind of a mincer. I was a little bit like, is she? They all knew, right? So they kind of took that out on me. You'd get like whacked around the head with a bag full of books or whatever.
Oh God.
And the only people that were kind of that got more stick and aggro than I did. So you could kind of say, because it's kind of pecking order, isn't it? Everyone's kind of working out, where they are, kind of thing. The only people on the lower rung that got more aggro than me was a little group of nerds that used to hang out behind the bin sheds, and they all had on their shirt collars school uniforms. They all had rank pips, so they kind of hierarchied themselves. There was like a leader who had 4 pips, and then there was his second who had 3 pips, and then the ensigns at dinner time or lunchtime, the captains would say, "Here's £10, get to the ice cream van, you're in the queue, you're an ensign." So they kind of,
Oh my gosh.
they were
Talk about hierarchy.
Yeah, like
within a hierarchy. That's amazing.
So I have to say I was kind of fascinated by them, like a bit of like morbid curiosity. I would always walk around that way so I could like look around to see what they were doing. They'd be playing like pretending the ship was being hit, and they're doing all this. I mean, like just really, really crazy stuff. But I kind of took my frustration out of being bullied on them because they were the only people that So I guess, and it wasn't anything physical, but it was always kind of, because I was into dinosaurs as well at the time. I was a big Jurassic Park fan and stuff. So it sounds weird that they were pretending that the ship was being hit by photon torpedoes, but I was running around on the playing field pretending to be a Gallimimus. So we all had our kind of crazy quirks. We all had our crazy quirks. And they used to go, oh, it's rubbish. Look at the CGI. You can see the line around the Gallimimus. And then I thought, oh, I've nothing to come back at them. And kind of, I need to take the mickey out of their show. And I was passing the living room one day. My dad was sat watching Star Trek The Next Generation. And I sat cross-legged in front. I thought, I'm going to watch the hell out of this. And I'm going to go back to school tomorrow. And I'm going to tell them everything that was shit about it. And everything that was hawker and everything that was crap and everything that was fake. It was the episode Data's Day.
Oh.
Okay. And watched the entire episode, completely forgot the reason I was watching it. And it got to the end and I thought, oh. First thing I thought was, I want to see the next episode. And the second thing I thought was, Data is me, actually. Data, you know, the analogy for a person that was trying to fit in, wanting to be like everybody else, but actually was something different. I thought, oh, that's me. And I was fascinated. I thought, I need to see what he does about this, how, you know, his crew helps him and whatever. So the day after I went to school, and rather than rush up and go, ha, this was rubbish, that was rubbish, I went up and said, I had 1,000 questions. Oh my God, so why is he wearing red and he wears, and I joined the group.
Oh.
Amazing.
Oh, look at that.
Did they give you pips for your school uniform?
I got pips. Yeah. I think I started out as a lieutenant, you know, but only because I got this kind of new sense of I wouldn't say protect them, but I would be the first at the front. I felt a bit more invincible because I had, for the first time, people behind me, people with me to back me up, and I got a bit brave, I have to say. So I weren't having none of that. So when the kind of the bullies were coming around and flinging things, I would be the first in front to sort of say, you know, and just hoping that they would be like behind me, and they always were. And how cool is that? I mean, and I've been a fan of it. An insane fan.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Now it's interesting. I have, you know, I as a, you know, I think we've all had this somewhat similar stories as you, those of us who have been somewhat lifelong fans, and but I think it's only sort of now in doing this podcast and then in going to this convention that I have been able to find a sense of community and a sense of queer community as a Star Trek fan, because that was not something that was, you know, that my fan self doesn't feel like it belongs in a group of gay men in New York City, for instance. You know, so I guess my question for you is: have you, through this, found queer fan communities where you have been able to sort of be both, all of yourselves at the same time?
I've never mixed the two, especially when I started doing drag and became a drag queen. I never mixed the two. I was, you know, Star Trek was the hobby. You know, it's things I did at home, and this was work, and that was that. And I think the Star Trek fandom kind of reminded me. I live in Manchester's gay village, as I said, and it's a large gay scene, but a very small community. All know each other's business. You know, everybody knows everybody else, and all these sorts of things. And they reminded me of one another. When I was going to Star Trek conventions, I felt the same as I do when I'm here in Manchester on the scene. It was a kind of welcoming kind of thing, and you know, you know you're around, you feel safe, you know you're around like-minded people. And then I used to look around these conventions and be going, he's one. I don't, hold on, it's full of gays. You know, they're all here. Why aren't they shouting about it? You know, and I would constantly see people from Manchester as well and go, I never knew you was a Trekker. You kept that quiet, you know. And I thought, you don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. You know, why can't we we do both. And then the first one I went to, I might have been 2012. I just went for it and went in drag. I went to see Jerry Ryan dressed as 7 of 9.
Oh my god!
And I have never been to a convention out of drag since. I don't think. Maybe once or twice, but for logistical reasons. But I always take a drag outfit. She was Gates McFadden was like, "Oh my god, look at this! Come here." Took a picture, and I'm thinking, "Hold on, I'm here for a picture with you."
Right?
Yeah.
This is
You know,
interesting.
you've just won the game.
Yeah, you've unlocked.
And I thought, well, this is the plan for the future. I shall be going in drag every time. Marina Sirtis is coming up, and she kind of put a hand, like, she went, "Here, where's the camel's toe?" She went, I had a worse camel toe than you did. What? You know what? Where'd you put them? You know, she's quite, where'd you put them? And I'm thinking, this is weird. Been watching you guys for years, and now I'm having these kinds of interactions. 1, because of my drag, and 2, because of the convention. So this is what we're going to be doing at every opportunity. And I go to them all.
Can we ask some of your greatest hits in terms of drag costumes for cons?
Cosplay wise?
Yeah.
I'm starting to run out, I think. I mean, uniforms, although I do have uniforms, you can wear these kind of both, you know,
right.
Drag and in drag. But I'm quite old school on the drag front, and it's, you know, you've got to have a bit of kind of skin out. You know, you've got boobs have got to be up here, your legs up here, hair up there. You know, if you're doing drag, let's do it big. Let's do it kind of glamorous, or some, you know. And there's not a lot of characters. Starfleet are all covered, like, literally from neck to the boots. I mean, they're basically boiler suits. So I've been choosing things recently that you can pimp up, if you will. You know, you can make them a little bit draggier. People still kind of look at them and go, "Oh, that's such and such," but with a drag twist. I went to Germany a couple of years ago and did all 3 of Mud's women in one day.
Oh my god!
Because if you look at the 60s costumes, they're all off. You know, there's a split up the side. There's you know, off the shoulders. They are glamorous gowns.
Yes.
I thought, got to do those. Did those. Luoxana, that didn't need dragging. Dragging
absolutely.
Up.
Of course.
Yeah, she's like way dragging up. I did the one when she turned up on Deep Space Nine with the pink hair. Did that one. 7 of 9 was probably, you know, that really set it off. But I mean, as we get older, you know, I can't get into that anymore. You know, Intended Kira was also another one that was, I think, it just took me so long to get down at the Excel Centre in London, just to go for lunch, just to get down. There's just huge people there.
Oh wow,
that was cool. Queen Arachnia,
yes,
fan, but didn't want to wear a boiler suit. So yeah, that one. So many others that I can't just pull to mind. But I'm doing a convention in July, and I've got a couple of things on the cutting table at the moment.
Nice. What convention, so people can come and see you?
So this year, conventions have a lot of trouble, don't they? This one's changed its name several times, but
conventions have a lot of trouble, don't they? Just put a pin in that one for a whole other episode.
Hey, listen, part of it as well, which does need a damn shout out, is that after the Star Trek takeover, CBS clamped on everything, fan films, all that sort of stuff, and including the licenses for you know, things like the big convention that comes closest to me, which was Destination Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
it's massive. Was massive. You know, Germany, London, Birmingham, and it's just got kind of gradually smaller. And CBS took the license away and said, no, we're going to be doing our own stuff. They haven't.
Right.
Mhm.
They're kind of sitting on it. I don't know why they're not doing it, whether they don't realize that we're out here in droves, you know, spending ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, they must do. They have a marketing department. They must know. For some reason, they're not pursuing it.
Right. Even
And
Vegas, they took the license away from Vegas. That's why they're the 55-year mission or whatever they called every year
yeah,
now.
yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Did they realize that people might have been trying to make money out of it? But I mean, you know, these are the fans. These are the people that you do need to look after.
Right.
It's bizarre. So this one now is it's simply called Destination. Simply not as big as it once was. I think at one point they had 5 captains, which was just epic. And it's taking place in July in Blackpool, which is a seaside town just near Manchester, near enough to drive comfortably. So I think what they've done is opened it to a lot of the fans are involved in a lot of the activities. So it's kind of being fan run, if you will. Now, we'd all love 10 more actors from the show, absolutely. But I guess money's tight. But, you know, they've got some people, you know, they've got Andrew Robinson, it's going on Ciroc Lofton, Robert Duncan McNeil, Tim Russ. There are people. There are people.
Well, and there's an interesting thing that I heard someone say at this last convention that that really struck me as true, because of course it was nice to see all of these celebrities. Though I think we've talked a little bit about this in the past, that as we get older, we're a little celebrity immune to some degree, but that we're the thrill is getting to see one another, is getting to meet other fans, is getting to see, like, oh my God, girl, did you do your own trail spots? Like those moments of of connection with strangers, and having that in that environment is just, you can just walk up to people and know that you have this thing in common, and everyone is so friendly, and that to me is the exciting part about the con.
I think that's the main reason, I think, and which is why that there's a lot of negative feedback on all these sorts of things. The cons, they do cost a lot of money. They cost so much money to go to and to be at, and there's a lot of negative feedback. However, I can't imagine them not happening, and the fandom not being able to meet up periodically, whether it be in whichever country. But you have people that travel the world for these things, and they must be kept going. I mean, they're all whinging now. Blackpool? Are you kidding? Blackpool? But seriously, I'm saying just show up, because if you don't, use it or lose it.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen. So they contacted me and they're like, Misty, are you going to be there? Would you like to do one of the panels? I'm doing the quiz for them.
Oh, fun.
I'm taking all my cosplay with me and putting an exhibition on,
Wow.
can chat about that. So there's going to be a lot of fans working on it. I had a Zoom the other day with Liam Dillon, who's a huge costume person, runs the Star Trek costume group online. He's doing a panel, helping judge the cosplay competition. The fans are really involved. And, like I say, I agree with a lot of the feedback. Sure, we'd love, Patrick Stewart there. We'd love, but these things just cost the earth. And until we start showing up in the numbers, then so use it or lose it is what I would say. And same with the con we've just been to as well. We have to go to these things to keep them going. Including Vegas, and what a cute atmosphere, cute little con that was. It was it was not massively. How many people would you say were there?
That's what we were trying to figure out also. I mean, it felt like under 500.
It did.
Which is small, right? I mean, I'm trying to think of that room when you all performed, and when Kate had her session, that was the fullest that room was.
Right.
So it was never any bigger than that.
Kate,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, surely, it's, although we can sort of go, well, there weren't a lot of people. surely, like the people that did go could go. I got one-on-one with most of the actors that were there.
We had
some
like
of
a
the-
half hour with Garrett Wong talking about our lives, and he wanted
Like-
to know about our lives. Like,
Yeah.
it was like,
yeah, just right. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, same with Penny Johnson. I was in there. Oh, I went to
Yes.
Manchester once. She's telling me this big anecdote about Manchester, and I thought, I kind of only popped up for an autograph, and she was like wonderful. I mean, if you've got a con with 3,000 people, you ain't going to get that.
Right.
So,
No.
It's a pretty cool aspect of a quieter, more personal convention. Yeah. So you've
but
got
is that kind of sustainable? Is it quieter, more personal? Like,
Well,
did you by any chance go to the Roddenberry's concert on Saturday, or were you already done by that?
right. Yes, I went to the Roddenberry's concert.
Oh, you were incognito then, were you?
Yes, I was. Yes, yeah. That was after. That was Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
were you
that was
inside the Gorn furry suit? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I was kind of stalking him because it was just like he stole that night for me. How awesome was that dude in the Rowan?
Yes.
Who started
Yes.
off in a miniskirt of some description. I think it might have been like a TOS scant, I think, with thigh boots or knee boots or something, and then went and did a quick change into a Goan. Yeah, like you do.
Oh, I missed the first part.
Like you do.
But I was mesmerized by him because he was at the front just living his best life, dancing and dancing and dancing. And every now and again, he'd take the Gorn head off and there'd just be steam coming off the top of his head.
Oh, right.
Right? And then he'd take his gloves off, have a drink, put the drink down, gloves back on, head back on, dance, 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 dance. Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's entertainment. Plus, these people are just out there just to really enjoy their fandom. What can you say about that concert?
I mean, I also loved the Riker Drag King moment, like the sitting on the stool. I was like, I'm done.
Full
here.
Riker maneuver.
Most of it. You talk about mixing drag with Star Trek, but they had go-go dancers in like hot pants with Vulcan.
I can close my eyes and see those hot pants. Are you kidding me? Yes.
All right. But look, I wish this wasn't a listening medium to see all of your faces. You're like, ugh, hot pants. Mm.
And he was really good, actually. And I was on this side of the stage, so I couldn't quite see the other side. But there was a girl as well in like a little kind of bikini kind of type thing, doing some go-go dancing, and all of those routines were good. And the guy that kept coming out and doing the Cardassian, the Ferengi,
he was like the hype man.
I was like,
amazing.
Oh, yeah, he was. Can I just say, I was so blown up. I'd seen them in Vegas. I knew there was the in-house band of Vegas, so I was very aware of them. I'd never seen a full set before.
Yeah.
Songs, Spock Lobster. I mean, some of the songs, just like, I mean, you couldn't write them. Well, somebody did, I guess. But I was that mesmerized by them. I went to the desk, bought a CD, compact disc, went back in and hunted them all down in the bar and got them to sign it.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
Should we do our rapid fire questions?
Sure. I want one thing I wanted to bring up before we jump into rapid fire. I think that Star Trek and drag are having kind of a moment right now. Even CBS is hiring Jackie Cox to do interviews in drag on the street and stuff, and at Barracuda in New York, there's a Janeway drag queen who, it's interesting. It's kind of happening in multiple places, and like, why do you think that is? Why do you think this is the moment?
Well, I'd never really noticed that it would happen now because, like I say, I've kind of been doing that, like, self-appointed, of course. Like CBS is not knocking on my door, but remember Kate mentions RuPaul.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
RuPaul is obviously world renowned and famous, but I'm thinking, do you just know her? Do you know RuPaul from being famous? Because I just had this vision of Kate Mulgrew sat in her armchair at home going, yes, to Drag Race kind of thing. And I was like, okay.
Everybody loves drag.
Uh, well, you know, we used to say that all the time, and then there became like a million of us. When I started, there was maybe like 50 in the country, you know, and now there's literally like thousands and thousands and thousands of drag queens, you know. But it just goes to show, doesn't it, what we were talking about earlier, that certainly my community leans towards Star Trek for its messages of acceptance and tolerance and diversity and all those sorts of things. So it doesn't surprise me that there are drag queens, you know, out there that are Trek leaning, you know, that love Star Trek. And if you can mix, you know, your business with pleasure, then wow, what a job to have. You know, that's, yeah. If I ever get asked, would you do anything else? I would probably say no. I would like to stay being a drag queen or be a Roddenberry, maybe. I think.
A what?
Yes, a Roddenberry.
Yes.
Oh, a Roddenberry.
If I have a career change, I want to be a Roddenberry when I grow up. One of the Roddenberries. Just like on the triangle, because I'm not.
I mean, same. I mean, well, also they clearly have a hype man and they have two go-go's. Like clearly they have room for people who don't play instruments.
They had someone on
Absolutely.
a tambourine, and when I'm doing my thing here, like I always get a little tambourine out if there's a song or whatever, and I'm thinking, I was actually watching them going, I could do that. Give me a tambourine.
A triangle would be easier. Tambourine, you gotta have. It's gotta be.
Sorry, what?
Well, that is the rhythm of a tambourine.
She's like, I'm not doing it again.
I am not. We're not doing that. We're not doing
We're not doing this. We're not doing
Triangle
this.
or nothing.
Can I just wiggle this wire?
You can,
Yes.
you can wiggle anything you want. I did a whole headset change. Did you see?
Yeah, she left the room and
Oh, yeah,
came
you
back.
did.
Did you? I can't.
That's what happens.
Mike and Damien have done full costume changes at the top of the show.
How did they show up?
We did.
You know,
we did. We had to.
you had to match. You had to come up. Yeah, see me, not me.
The gauntlet was thrown.
The gauntlet was thrown. I got on the Zoom and there she was in a full uniform, and mine was just in the next room. So here I am.
Yeah, and they went and got changed. But to be fair, Damien was in nipple tassels, and Mike
Absolutely. I'm so happy you got to see how he looks on his off time. Been trying to tell people, they don't want to believe me.
All right. So there are some rapid fire questions that we like to throw at our guests on the pod. These first thought you have, okay? Crusher or Pulaski?
Crusher.
Excellent. Team Tasha or Team Armis?
Oh, Team Tasha.
Tomato.
Benita is the only Team Armis.
Tomato.
She's Team Armis. Excellent. Would you take Worf's Klingon Tai Chi class or do leotard yoga with Beverly and Deanna?
I would probably take Worf's Tai Chi. I think, just to avoid those aforementioned camel toes
and leotards.
Yeah, sure.
And defending against the bullies, that his Tai Chi is will come in handy. Tea Earl Grey hot or coffee black?
Coffee black.
If you had a replicator sitting next to you right now, what would you order?
I would order a large brandy to go in the coffee.
No synthahol.
No, absolutely not. It's banned in this house, I'm afraid.
Is this Saurian brandy? Because I feel like Saurian brandy is like the new Romulan ale on Star Trek. It's what everyone drinks when they show that they like really want to get wasted.
It gets name dropped constantly.
It does.
Yeah.
It's old school.
Sure, Saurian brandy.
Some Saurian brandy. Excellent. Who is your Star Trek bartender, Quark or Guinan?
I think it would be Guinan.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't think Quark is necessarily great at bartending.
No, he's not.
No.
All you see him doing is counting latinum and cleaning glasses and yelling at Ron to go do something. Like, what are we talking about? Being mad at Dabo girls for giving people money. Like, Quark is a figurehead.
I just feel you would get the, if you're like drinking or drowning your sorrows at the bar, you get some good advice from Guinan. But if you got too drunk in Quark, you'd wake up, your pockets will be empty.
Empty.
Oh, yes.
Empty. You'd have nothing.
Yeah. So it's funny. I don't know if you listen to the Delta Flyers at all, the podcast.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Armin Shimmerman is on now, and they're doing the rewatch of Deep Space Nine. And I love it because everyone is so like, Kira is very mean to Quark, Sisko is mean to Quark. And you hear Armin talking about it, and it's like his feelings are a little hurt by it. Like he's like, I just don't, he makes these little comments where you're like, I think your feelings are hurt on behalf of Quark here.
Oh, well, you know what? He gives as good as he gets, though. He's quite horrible back, isn't he, as well?
Oh, sure.
Exactly.
He's got a heart in there somewhere, and, he's got his cute moments, but he's a bit of a shit.
Right. Yes. He even had his own drag moment on the show.
Oh. Yes. he did. And
is that a look you're going to do?
Well, do you know exactly what I was about to say, Mike? People keep saying, "Are you going to do that?" I could cope with the cinching, I could cope with the pleasers, but not with that rubber head thing. And no, it's so difficult to get a really good Ferengi prosthetic. I've only seen a couple, like in my all my convention going years, that is really, really cool. Sometimes it kind of looks just like a bin lid's been.
I want the Mariner Ferengi beer hat with the straws.
Now, what a comfortable costume that would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, last question. The very short treks, toot or boot?
These are the animated thing.
Yes, the little animated shorts.
Boo, 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 boo. I watched them like through my fingers like this, like, no, this can't be real. No, this is someone from Star Wars has made these. No. No, ridiculous.
Yeah. We had a hot debate about that on the pod.
We did. We talked about it for like 20 times longer than the actual cartoons.
I couldn't believe them. All that money, all the possible content you could make for Star Trek, and this is what.
That's true.
God, there was only one that was terrible. There was only one that was terrible, and had to do with snot. Everything else, I could get behind. It's kind of funny.
See, I'd even forgot about that one. I mean, no, that was. What about the arse on the bridge?
The ass head person.
Because that is funny. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. It's like it's just the dumbest shit ever. It's the dumbest shit ever. I was like, way to poke fun.
You knew how bad it was before they even brought them out. They kind of went, by the way, they're not canon. Don't panic.
They were very clear to say that.
Yeah, very clear.
Because fandom gets very, very precious about things when you go a little left. Sometimes you gotta have a little fun. Throw stuff at the wall.
And sure, I get that, but listen, we can have some fun. Didn't Patrick Stewart say that to Denise Crosby? We are not here to have fun. Apparently, when there was arsing about on the set in season 1, we can have fun and do all the experimenting and all those kinds of things once we get some solid, good, recognizable, continuous, familiar Star Trek, and then everything else you want to do, go singing on top of the hull, do whatever you want, but can we just have a continuation of the stuff that we've watched for 30, 40, 50 years, so that we can catch up with all those people that we've fallen in love with in the show, see where they're at. We got shortchanged at the end of Voyager. Where are they? What they, once we've got that, that's the basic standard that we kind of want, I think, listening to the kind of fandom tweeting and all that. Once that's in place, and I would argue that perhaps Picard season 3 demonstrated that that's kind of what we were looking for. Then everything around it, your other 3 or 4 series that you've got going, knock yourself out, have some fun. But
do you think that any of the series ended the way that you wanted them to?
The Star Trek series, Deep Space Nine, Deep Space
So you're
Nine.
good. So you're good with not knowing. You don't need to know anything about else about.
No, not necessarily. I felt with Voyager, it was an ending, and sometimes it's good to have an ending, knowing that they were going on to, they were doing Enterprise and something different. They was going to be doing something else. The problem with the ending is that some of us have been watching continuously in a forward motion for 18 years, through Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. And when Voyager ended, everything ended. That time ended. That point, that moment in time for Star Trek ended. And then we went back to a prequel. And we've never, even to this day, other than Picard, which was slightly quiet and disappointing for season 1, never quite gone back and carried that timeline and that story on, and I was so into it. I was really into it. I just felt that we waited 7 years for Voyager to get home, and I wanted to see them enjoy it, and we didn't. We just saw the arse of the ship flying towards there, and that's your lot. So hashtag Star Trek Janeway, or not that I take that back. Actually, can I just take that back, because I don't believe that a Star Trek series should be focused on an individual. It's always been an ensemble. So I think to go heavy on one person, as legendary as Picard is and as legendary as Janeway is, a true, family feel Star Trek series is a crew, So
do you think that it's Star Trek? Do you see it as Star Trek Legacy? Do you see it as the continuation of? Yeah.
I do, because that opens it to all those aforementioned series and all the characters that were in it. Anybody could turn up, as Terry Matalis started to do with Tuvok and Ensign Ro.
Yeah.
Sorry,
right.
Not she, a lieutenant commander, whatever she is, commander. So yeah, it just opens it up. We're in the right timeline. We have some familiar tech, and I'd like to see it pick up there. I really would like to see it pick up there.
What do you think happens? Oh, go, La.
Are any of the new series, as you've mentioned Picard, like the Discovery, the Strange New Worlds, are any of those up your alley of giving you a little bit of something to chew on that you wanted?
Yeah, to an extent, yes, I would say. I would say watching the current series of Discovery, where, I have to say, an episode would come out of DS9 or Voyager, and I would be waiting outside the Woolworths for it to open so I could get the VHS. Right. That's how excited I was to watch the next episode of DS9 or Voyager. That was, when I was buying the VHS tapes, when those 2 shows were out. Bearing in mind that on one of those tapes is Threshold on Voyager, and I was still outside, rain or shine. Now I find, right, can you imagine getting home and finding it was that episode, which I was quite happy with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you get to see your crew again and whatever. That's great. But now I find that, Discovery airs on Thursday. Now I find it sometimes gets to Friday or Saturday and I go, oh, I've got an episode to watch. And I think, how the hell's that happened?
Yeah.
I should be there at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning going, I need to see what's going on here. And I don't particularly on this one, but watching this season, I do say it is a shame it's ended, because it looks like it's taken.
Wait! No spoilers. We haven't started yet. But okay, yes, sure. Keep going.
But it looks like it's taken the creators 5 seasons to actually go, oh Christ, this is what they want. Let's put it in this direction. Let's put it. And they finally get in it, and it's too little too late, unfortunately, for Discovery. And now it's not going to air. Strange New Worlds is my favourite of all of them currently. One main reason, and it was my huge issue with Picard. The biggest USP for Star Trek, whether people are realising it, is not the tech, not the aliens. First of all, it's the colours. It's the colour of the show. That's what makes it unique. And most of the stuff like Discovery and Picard, they're being shot in a way that if you were 3 blocks away and you saw a TV store, a television store, and you saw one of those shows playing in the window, you wouldn't know what that was. It could be anything. But
Right.
if you saw Next Gen or anything or original series, you could tell from a mile away. You'd see those yellows and reds and blues, and you would know that was Star Trek. They turned all the lights off on us in Picard season 3. It
Yes.
was pitch black.
So
I mean,
dark.
to the point where people were literally silhouettes on the bridge for no reason. I mean, it was crazy. What Strange New Worlds does has put that colour back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the colour says. This is a happy, safe, hopeful place to be. You know, it's bright.
Yeah.
And people can go, oh, well, it looks a bit tacky. You can't film it like it was in the 90s. Yes, you can. Speak to the Orville. You know,
Right. Yes.
I'm not saying do it in the 90s style. I'm saying do it in the Star Trek style. And Star Trek style is timeless. And Star Trek is Star Trek. Keep it. Because that was a winning formula, clearly, because it's been going for so long. Turn the damn lights on.
Turn the lights on.
Please.
What do we think of the Lower Decks, since we're talking about classic like coloring?
Wow.
Do we think Lower Decks is?
Yeah, I mean, but like you said earlier, you have got to have a little fun, which is why there are kind of light-hearted episodes, a lot of ridiculousness in Star Trek. But when you're doing 26 episodes a season, you can do a ridiculous one every now and again. Right. It's when you're doing 10 episode seasons and you've got 2 or 3 ridiculous ones that the whole thing starts to look hokey. And I would say that perhaps Strange New Worlds suffered a little bit with that last season.
Well, the example that you gave earlier, Data's Day, I don't know that Data's Day would have ever happened in a series where you only get 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Never, because you could consider that filler.
It's all filler, and it's the most glorious filler in all of Star Trek, I would say. I mean, the tap dancing, the Joe Piscopo stuff, it's all gold.
It's character building, though, is what it is. And that's what makes you tune into a TV show every week. It's those characters. Mm-hmm. And we're not getting enough time with the characters in 10 episodes because you've got most of the story focused on the narrative and the plot line. And you have people still to this day sat on the Discovery Bridge with "I sir, no sir, fire torpedoes sir." They've been in it for 5 years and a bloody clue who they are. And you know, I would say the best thing to come out of there is Saru. I would say that Sonequa's been really shortchanged on some of the stuff that she's been given because she is phenomenal. You know, I was watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
When they announced her as captain, I was like, "Here we go!"
Exactly.
Right.
And
I was ready for it.
But they're finally getting Burnham right in the last season. Yeah,
absolutely. They're getting Burnham right. They've kind of listened, but there must have been a bit of stubbornness there because they're like, "Oh, shut up! Klingons don't need hair." Oh, okay, get some bloody hair on them Klingons. You know, that's what it's kind of. So when people say other fans attacking other fans, going, "Stop bloody whinging, stop moaning, stop having a go at New Trek, blah blah blah," well, actually, they're listening, taking them a little while, but you know, be vocal if you don't like something. You look at the look behind me. It costs you thousands and thousands to be into this kind of fandom, you know. Mm-hmm. So you know, we're the ones, you know, we're the customer. And if you don't like a product, don't sit there and go, "Oh, I don't like this one." Just, you know, social media, you can say so. You don't have to be nasty or rude, you know. But if you kind of don't like something, you can. It's okay to say so. And to an extent, they're listening, I think. And I think we'll get like I said, frankly.
Yeah.
I think so. Everything's up in the air because of the sale of.
I know.
It's kind of concerning. But I'm pretty sure that after all is said and done and the attempt to redesign and reinventing or whatever, it's a reboot, pretty much a reboot, I would say, of Star Trek. I think it's going to come full circle and they're going to go, just give them what they damn well wanted. And it's going to go astronomical, and whoever is put in front of that is going to be a new legend. And, you know, I mean, we're all for Terry Metalis, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he knows how to tell a story. He knows how to, and the thing is, I think that for as much as I and I have said this before, these guys are going to be bored, but like the Next Generation is like so at like the core of my heart and like from my childhood, and that, but to be able to see those characters that I love have drama and conflict and be able to sort of go at one another in a way where you're like, the love is still there. The history is still very, like, very, very present, but there's that they're able, I mean, and I have no other way to say it than it's kind of the best of both worlds, that you get like that all of this sort of like sentiment of who these people are and remember, but they're giving them like so much more depth than maybe
and it, as well, because we know from watching and following these actors for so long, it's real as well. For the most part, it's all real. So when they're getting those rooms together, and you know, it's just it's old friends hanging out.
Right.
I don't know how anything got filmed because.
And some of us are lunatics enough to see those old friends hanging out and feel really hurt that we're not invited.
Well, I can't play poker, but
they don't know you, Amazon.
I've seen like Terry Farrell and a non-visitor are going hiking together, and I'm like, you don't even call me. Like, I'm free.
They don't know you.
Totally
Don't be a freak. Don't be a now. See, now you're stalking.
Now you're stalking.
Does that not kind of get you here? Where's your heart?
Right.
Else?
In the middle of your chest. It's in the middle. It's right there.
Is it really? Yeah, I've heard that. Does it not get you there when you see a couple of the Trek actors, like not at a convention, just hanging out?
Hanging out because they're friends.
And Terry, or when Kate finished that weekend in Philly, she went out for dinner with Bob Picardo, didn't she? Like, because Bob.
Yeah, I saw that on
like,
social media.
Maybe they do like each other. Like,
they're just like us.
Well, also, she's not shy about saying that Bob Picardo and Robbie McNeil are her favorite. Like, she literally goes on, she's like, well, I don't get along with everyone, but I love these ones.
Yeah, well, she never meant carrots. Just saying. Yeah, sure. That was cute. I saw them. Actually, she met up with Robbie as well, didn't she? Because someone tweeted that and was like, yeah, so she's taking time to catch up with everyone while she's in the same area. That's cute. You know, don't have to do that. You're just, you know, colleagues, not just colleagues, but colleagues from 30 years ago, you know.
Well, and also I imagine it is such an intense thing to have. Like, these people were never fans when they came into this world, you know, like they took a job and they probably, as much as they knew that it was like an oddity, like, I don't think that there's any preparing someone for how this show lives with you from having. I mean, that was an interesting convention takeaway that I didn't anticipate, is people like, what's her name? Tracy Coco. Do you remember her? She was one of the most recognizable faces from Next Generation, and I think Deep Space Nine probably never had a line.
Like, background, but you see her face and you're like, oh yeah,
I knew exactly who she was. And to hear her talk about her life with that show was fascinating.
Yeah. She was literally there all the time. Episode, and you just see it there. She is in the background constantly. She was literally on that set as much as some of the kind of regular actors, kind of thing. It's like,
well, I'm sure, and it was her life those years as much as it was Gates McFadden and LeVar Burton's. You know, it's like,
but just not as in the spotlight, and so didn't get the as much. They could have at least give her a line or two, a bit of dialogue would have been just a yes.
They'd had to pay her more.
Oh, well, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You can totally tell it's like, right, you press the buttons, shut up. You know. but I mean, like, after being there so long, it's just like, give her a credit,
Yeah.
Sure, you could have done that. That would have been nice. Bless her. I chatted to her as well. She was like, she's just so cool, right? And she hangs out with the band.
She's so
She's in the bar.
Yeah.
She was down in the bar with everyone, and yeah. Great.
And our other favorite was Bonnie Gordon.
Right. Who was also always down at the bar.
Who was always down at the bar, sang with the Roddenberrys.
Yeah. Her battery's running on full. Yeah. She's. Did you see her on stage with the Roddenberrys, like singing?
Sure did.
Oh yeah.
Like,
she's living her best life,
Oh, completely. And why not? And why not? I've got her autograph as well. Yeah.
Nice.
There was a lot of people there. To be fair, a lot of guests actually.
There was. Well, we could talk all night, but I think it's 1:30 in the morning there, and you've been
Mike
so generous with your
Jones.
time.
We're gonna keep you here
Mike,
potting until sunrise.
Oh my goodness, Mike Jones! I can't believe you didn't ask for me.
What?
For me,
What?
because,
What question
okay,
did I not ask?
okay, because Misty has said that Data was her entry point in to
Yes.
Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Yes, I know the question you wanted me to ask.
She has said that she is Team Tasha Yar. I'm going to forgive her for that.
This is where we are hung up on this point on this podcast. And if you've
we're
listened
not
to us
hung.
once or twice, you'll know
You're hung up on
that
nothing.
Ask your question. Ask your question. This is a hot topic.
It's hot top. But Mike Jones has phrased it this way, so I'm going to ask it this way. Do you have consent issues with Data and Tasha? I.e., their time together. Are you for
now
or against?
I know exactly what you're alluding to. Why end on something so critical? I've never. Really
I know.
I know. I'll ask a question after. I just wanted this one, and then I have one more after this, and then I will.
Wait, and I gotta say, like, the backstory here is Lenita. We're Mike and I were like childhood fans. Lenita has come to this as an adult, and so we value
a more adult
person. She's not quite an adult yet, but and we value this as her perspective. But what we have learned is that that gay men in their 40s tend to have a memory of being a child and being unreasonably attached to one Tasha Yar. And apparently when you encounter Tasha Yar as an adult, she's not a great character.
As a queer woman.
As a queer woman, yes. You're like, oh, maybe they didn't do such a good job writing that character, and maybe she's a shit character. Whereas Mike and I are like, she was a cornerstone of our like youthful identity. Am I misrepresenting you, Mike?
No, not at all.
I don't know. I kind of just remember it being there, but I was, even at that age, I mean, obviously I knew I was gay. I was kind of getting lesbian vibes, so I'm just going to be straight honest like that.
Oh yeah.
Sure, all right. Not because of short hair or anything like that, but
yeah, it was still lesbian.
But back then, I think this was way before obviously Janeway come on the scene and all that kind of thing. Back then, the other woman on the bridge was, had the boobs out in a catsuit, and she was playing a typically male position on the show. She was dead macho and she was kicking off all the time, and so I kind of got the lesbian vibe, which I kind of thought was kind of cool. If trouble kicks off, you want a lesbian to be on your side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem. But as I remember the episode that you're asking the question about, she was under the influence or intoxicated. Something was going on with that, wasn't it? And that's when they copulated.
Correct. They had a little diddle.
So I actually have to say, Lenita, I have not considered that. And you've probably ruined that entire episode for me now, because there are deeper issues there to delve into, but you could be right. Data was my entry point, and Tasha's apparently, into Star Trek, but now I'm going to have to question that. I always liked him.
Yeah. Well, it meant so much to him, that event. It really affected him. And he brings it up in Measure of a Man, and even in Picard we see it mentioned
the memory.
But afterwards, for her, she the next day was like, it didn't happen, we don't talk about it. Shut it down.
She used him, and he was not able to fully consent to the act.
And he was very childlike.
Yes.
I think he consented. I don't think there's an issue.
Okay. Even if he consented, we're not saying that there was anything untoward. I just didn't like the fact that she used him in all of the ways that he could be used, and then acted as if it didn't happen. And Data was like, "But I love you."
That's perhaps very true, and I hope that she didn't see him as a machine, but as a person, because that's the point of the entire Star Trek sort of, he was sentient being, so if she saw him like not as a piece of meat but as a machine, then she needs to be going to the drawer next to her bed rather than to one of the crew members. But also just turning that around, if she was, I forget what the plot line, she was under the influence of
there was some sex, everybody
yeah.
was really like letting loose and all their inhibitions were gone, so everybody was with everybody.
So did she consent as well? Because did she know what she was doing?
She pulled him in. Data did not initiate this. This was all, and that is why I am Team Armis. She got what she deserved.
Right. Now I understand that, because I was like, oh my God, didn't Armis like murder Tasha? I was like, that's brutal. Like, why is she Team Armis? Okay, sure. Okay,
but not. But no,
it's a hot take.
Hot take, and then it's a hot take, and then the other thing, just because you do have such a long history with Star Trek, which I think is a very good question, Mike Jones, that you came up with. If you could have dinner with 3 characters, not the actors, who would they be and why?
Surprisingly enough, it probably wouldn't be Janeway, because I do remember her incinerating a pot roast in a replicator. I don't. How do you even do that? So that's bothered me. For you end up on peanut jelly sandwiches. So it's definitely not her. It would absolutely be Sisko.
Okay.
Benjamin Sisko.
Damien loves you forever.
Just for all the Creole cooking, and obviously, he's got that from his father. So certainly Sisko. I like to try other foods, foreign foods, when I'm traveling. So I would probably go for a character that is not from Earth. I would probably say Major Kira, perhaps, and try a little bit of Hasbrat, because she can have a different spicy levels. And I quite like spicy food. And I would like probably for Neelix to make some cuisine for me, because I think he's been, listen, I think generally he's been given a really bad reputation, a crew stranded, they're all frustrated, they're all pissed off, they're all angry, and they just, you just take it out on whatever, the food's crap, just like if you're in a hotel on holiday, you're not having a great time, you mourn about everything. And I think there was some unnecessary mourning and whinging and complaint about Neelix's cooking. So I would like to try it for myself before I judge them. Right?
The kitchen.
Leola root might be delicious.
Yeah. Misty.
He really tried. Neelix, I mean, I think he somehow made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for Tom Paris. Like, he really tried. So I like that. Those are great.
He was so accommodating. He'd do pizza for the banana pancakes for Balana. Whatever you wanted, he could.
This is a different perspective. Misty, I may have to give another thought about Neelix and his.
Yeah, it was a prop. If anything, it was a props department where we had that buffet out. It was literally
flame production,
sliced raw liver or whatever it was. I'm thinking, poor man. I mean, not fair.
All right. This has been an absolute joy. I thank you so much for coming on.
So grateful for staying up late with us.
Thank you for asking. Completely unexpected, but always great to talk to fellow fans. And who knows, we're gonna bump into each other one day at another convention.
Oh, I'm gonna count on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where
An open invitation. Please come back anytime and join us.
Oh yes, of course.
Oh sure, you guys just message anytime, and I'm kind of always up at this. I've just had like a massive pot of black coffee, so probably just going to be.
I'm probably going to be asleep before you are.
Really? What time is it now?
8:43.
8:40. Yeah, 8:45.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we're pushing 2 a.m. I think on this side. Yeah.
Where can people find you if they're looking for you?
Okay. What, like from New York? Or...
I mean, hey, listen, whatever you want to tell them.
No, I'm telling you straight up. If you're in New York and you're thinking of flying all the way over to see my show, don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't put as much effort into everything as I do for Catherine Janeway, So, no, I literally live and breathe Manchester's Canal Street. Most of my residences are there. I've worked there for years. So all my friends are there. my regulars from my quiz, bingo, karaoke sessions, shows. So literally, if you're ever in Manchester, especially if you're a Trekkie, yeah, buzz me. What do you say? Tweet me.
Manchester is on our list. Like my husband and I are going to end up there. We have a friend who lives there, and she's said anytime come and she has a spare room, and yeah, I will definitely get there, and I'll give you a call.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many trekkers down here. We have a couple of like geek bars as well. There's a little bar with like part of the bridge of the original Enterprise inside it.
Oh wow.
That's where the DJ sits in Captain Kirk's chair and DJs off the helm. It's just
road trip.
Yeah, road trip.
It's pretty cool. And just the last thing, and I'd say this to the fans, I don't know if I'm the only one that suffers from this, but every time a convention ends, that last day when the hotel is clearing out, normally I stay another day just to kind of absorb that atmosphere. I get a little bit like, I don't want this to end kind of thing, because you've got all the people leaving, and people refer to it as convention blues, and I really don't know. I've never heard that before, but I get really sure. I didn't know what it was when it first kind of happened. I was like, is it because I have to go back to like real work? But I just see them, just all the holes going from all these colourful costumes and aliens walking around to nothing and nobody, and you're sat in the hotel bar, with a brandy, and there's no one else there. And I think, oh my God, how long is it to the next convention? And I just wondered if it was only me that sort of starts feeling like that at the end.
No, I had a real re-entry problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. There should be a group set up for that, man. It's bad, right? It's bad. We need to cancel a try on that, really.
Well, my exit, I exited the convention and went directly to my partner's family's Passover dinner, Seder. And so there was lots of really cheap, fruity kosher wine. So I was very drunk.
Oh, okay. Do you know, that's my get out as well. That's kind of what I tend to do. It's like drink on the last night. I've mentioned drink many times on this. I've just realized I'm not an alcoholic, by the way.
No, me neither, but I have a cocktail waiting for when we're done. So
I work the nighttime scene, so I mean, it's part and parcel of this kind of world, I guess. The
absolutely.
Have a drink with people and whatever. But yeah, this, as what the point of that was, this little sort of get together here has alleviated kind of any convention blues, because this is like a little stepping stone that I've got now until the next convention, which is just over the hill in July. So,
well, and I, for one, hope that you are booked to do more of these at conventions, because it's just too good, and it was such a joy for us in the audience, and I'm sure for Kate.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure you leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. And you can find us on the socials at Hailing Freak Open or online at hailingfrequenciesopen.com. And with that, I think I will say Hailing Frequencies closed.
No goodbyes. Just good memories. Hailing Frequencies closed, sir.